Few of the stories that we're watching for you today. After Trump's landslide win, many in the FBI realized their day of control, well, those days are numbered. We'll talk with the founder of electionforum.org, Craig Huey, about the changes coming to Washington, D.C. And with 3 Supreme Court justices nearing retirement, the Trump administration is positioned to establish a conservative majority for decades. We'll talk with attorney and author Thomas Del Beccaro about this and more. But first, let's go to Fiora Hernandez with our headlines. Fiora.
Thank you, Greg. As the counting of votes continues in a number of states, 2 questions remain. What kind of majority will Republicans have in the U.S. Senate, and will the GOP retain control of the House? Let's start with the Senate. According to the Associated Press, with a 3-seat gain, Republicans now have control of 53 seats, while Democrats have control of 45. States with 2 races yet to be called are Arizona and Nevada. As for the House, according to the Associated Press, Republicans have won 211 seats, while Democrats have 199, with a total number of seats being 435 to 25. Races have yet to be called, meaning either party could end up in control of the chamber. One of the House races called on Thursday was in Pennsylvania and went to incumbent Representative Scott Perry, a Republican. Republicans have had control of the House for this 2-year session, with Louisiana's Mike Johnson currently presiding as Speaker of the House. Leadership at the big tech giants lauded Donald Trump's election victory and political comeback while saying they looked forward to working with him. The messages were similar, with the CEOs remarking on Trump's successful campaign to secure the Oval Office a second time. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos congratulated the president-elect, noting the decisive victory. Quote, "Big congratulations to our 45th and now 47th president on an extraordinary political comeback and decisive victory. No nation has bigger opportunities. Wishing Donald Trump all success in leading and uniting the America we all love," end quote. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook founder, posted on Threads, "Decisive victory and great opportunities ahead of us as a country." Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google's parent company, referred to being committed to work with Donald Trump for the benefit of everyone. In the entertainment industry, the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO said a Trump administration may bring optimism and opportunity for consolidation. According to Newsmax, Thursday during the company's third-quarter earnings call, David Zaslav said the incoming administration might offer a much-needed change of pace. According to the New York Post, Zaslav told investors the industry was ripe for consolidation. He noted it would improve consumer experience as various services were combined into more coherent offerings. Strict antitrust policies under the Biden administration has blocked deals making across industries over the last few years. Mike?
Fiora, some like Mark Cuban said Donald Trump does not surround himself with strong women, but the president-elect's recent chief of staff appointment shuts down that claim.
The ice baby. We call her the ice baby. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not.
Longtime GOP operative Susie Wiles will serve as Trump's White House chief of staff, as he announced recently. Trump described Wiles as tough, smart, innovative, and universally admired and respected. GOP strategist John Brabender told Fox News Digital if they searched high and low in the entire world, there is not a better choice than Susie Wiles for White House chief of staff. The announcement came yesterday. Wiles will be the first woman to ever serve in that position. And Donald Trump's re-election marks a historic return to the White House, with key allies likely to play influential roles. While Trump hasn't announced cabinet picks yet, some prominent figures have emerged as possible appointees. Former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and former U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer could reprise their prior roles. Trump's transition team is co-chaired by Linda McMahon, formerly of Small Business Administration, and Howard Lutnick, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. They may influence staffing alongside of the America First Policy Institute, signaling a potential shift in advisory focus. Elon Musk is likely to lead a government efficiency commission aiming to streamline federal bureaucracy, while Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is seen as a candidate for the FDA or Health and Human Services roles due to his health reform advocacy. Former Democrats Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek Ramaswamy are also being considered, possibly in defense or foreign policy roles. Other allies, such as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Trump advisor Stephen Miller, are under consideration for positions related to justice and security. And now that Donald Trump is the president-elect and will soon return to the White House, what does that mean for his numerous legal woes? First off, the former president is scheduled for sentencing later this month in his Manhattan, New York criminal case. Judge Juan Merchan is set to rule by November 12th on whether to dismiss the 34 falsifying business records charges entirely after the Supreme Court's presidential immunity ruling, which took place, of course, earlier this year. Deputy Director of Heritage Foundation's Edwin Meese III Center for Legal and Judicial Studies, Cully Stimson, told Fox Digital Merchan was not an ordinary judge and would likely deny Trump's claim of immunity. Stimson said if the Trump team appealed, an appellate court denied the immunity claim, incarceration was not in the picture. He explained how under the supremacy clause that is, on criminal sentencing cannot be imposed on a sitting president. Greg.
Those who run the FBI were reportedly shell-shocked by Donald Trump's election victory and know their days are numbered. According to the Washington Times, inside sources say the Bureau's top brass are walking around in a daze in light of impending house cleaning. One of the first to go will likely be Director Christopher Wray, who Donald Trump appointed in 2017 during his first term after the firing of then-Director James Comey. Deputy Director Paul Abate will likely be headed out the door right after Wray. The Times reports quotes that former FBI whistleblower George Hill, who said the current state of the FBI is, quote, frazzled. And I have friends still at the Bureau telling me that no less than 50 senior executives are scrambling to retire as soon as possible. Donald Trump and the Bureau have an unpleasant history, which began back in 2016 when Comey launched the Crossfire Hurricane investigation into any connections Donald Trump campaign had with Russia, which turned out to be none. The FBI director traditionally serves a 10-year term, but it has to be at the pleasure of the president.